Alright, it is 5 May, Cinco de Mayo 2018. Today's project, we got to get some concrete loaded into the wagon, and then we got to get our cement mixer assembled, and then get that over there to that shed and start pouring a cement floor. It rained a little bit earlier, as you can see by some of the puddles, but we got blue skies now. So, time to get to work. Alright, so we got our concrete over here in the shed. Still got a bunch of crap in here that we're going to have to clear out. But the previous owners kind of left. Some of it's okay. They left some lumber and stuff, so that's cool. And some rain filter things, and a shelf. But some other stuff is just scrap pieces of wood and stuff's got to go. But at any rate, so I've cleared a section of floor over here. Probably going to do about 2 feet at a time. We're going to have to sweep this up a little bit more. We've swept that part off. You can see it's just kind of a patchwork of either old cement or bags of Saccrete. There's some piles of dirt here that I've swept over. Have to get that out of there. And I'm just going to take a pressure treated 2x4 and probably cut it in half. So it's a 2x2 kind of, and just lay a line down across there and pour the cement. So that way we've got about 2 inches of cement on here. Should be enough to hold and not crack a whole lot, but basically just trying to level this off a little bit. I really don't care if it cracks, but just to get it to where it's not so rough in here. So that's where we're at. We're going to get some of this stuff cleaned up, put in the wheelbarrow over here, and hauled off. And then I'll start putting a board down, form a form, create a form, so that we can pour cement in. And I'm probably do again about two feet at a time, because I'm old and fat and it's hot. All right, for the past 2.5 hours, I've been shop vacuuming the floor here to get up anything that was loose before I pour my concrete, and that's my results. I've got a whole wheelbarrow full of dust and dirt and loose gravel. At any rate, and some of it is just dirt, which I was kind of afraid of. But so it looks like it was a cement floor maybe at one point, badly decayed, and they put in some Saccrete over there. Hard telling how far back that goes, but at any rate, we're ready to split a 2x4 here and attach that down there. See how level we can get this and start pouring some concrete. Alright, so I got my 2x4 cut in half, and I got it a little block put in over there to keep it from coming out, and a screw in there on the top kind of hold it there. Same thing on that end, and unfortunately, this is not level, and I'm not going to be able to level it because if I go to the top of that 2x4 there at the bottom, and the top of that, it's going downhill. So I'm just going to let it go downhill a little bit. I'm not going to worry about leveling it because I'd have to raise this a good 2 or 3 inches up here, which means I have to cut and put some more board down there. It just kind of be a pain to get it perfectly level. It's just a barn shed, so I don't think it's going to matter. I've got this 80-pound bag of Saccrete there in the middle. That way there's a 4x4 board right there holding it in place, and then the 80-pound weight, so that way as I pour the concrete, it doesn't push out and just push that board out of the way, and then I end up with a big crescent-shaped piece of Saccrete concrete floor. So anyway, we're ready to start mixing some cement. So I guess it's right about 5 hours later. I got 10 bags of Saccrete mixed up and poured, and the 2-foot strip. Now I calculated 10 bags, and obviously I was short. So I left a hole over here. You can see it's about the size of a concrete bag, and I did that so that way my edge work over here is all nice and neat. This I have a bench over it anyway, but at any rate, that way tomorrow I can go ahead and patch that up, and my edge over here is ready to go to hold in my next row of Saccrete. So that way I'll pour 2 strips there, fill that hole in, and we'll have a good start on this barn shed. And next time I'll calculate about 12 bags instead of 10. That way we got enough. Plus I had to use my bag that I was using as a weight here in the middle. So so next time I'm going to want to make sure I get an extra bag just for a weight. Alright, it's Sunday, 6 May 2018. We moved our form over for another, actually this is going to be 28 inches. I don't know why that stud down there lined up at 28, so I'm going to pick that spot. And 28 down here. 28 down here gives me a little bit shy on this side. You can see there's a seam over here. There we go. You can see there's a seam over here where I assume there's a 4-foot panel there, and they just went another 4 inches. So the seam's not lined up on a stud. This whole place is a little weird. I'm going to have to redo some of the construction here. You notice that beam there up there in the corner? That's not resting on the support, and they got that just nailed in, and then down there to try to transfer weight onto the support beams, but it's not really doing that very well. So we're going to take those out and just run some boards down along the side there so that they actually support those 2 boards right there, because those 2 boards are just hanging in the air. There's nothing supporting them. They're not tied to the support beam here. And then they put that's a beam, a roof rafter goes in there. That looks like it's on the beam, at least I hope so. At any rate, as usual, you buy these places and you're like, what the hell were these people thinking? Like the person that buys this after me will be like, what the hell was this guy thinking? Because my floor is not level. It gets about there and then it slopes downhill. But at any rate, so we got to patch that hole and pour more concrete here. Not sure how far I get. I moved 1,200 pounds of Saccrete from the truck in here, and I'm tired already. But we also cleaned out a lot of stuff. All that garbage over there we got out of the shed here. Moved some lumber out, and making progress. Alright, so I got that hole patched and poured a little bit more concrete there. I did 4 bags out of the 15, but it's laundry day. I'm going to go home, start on laundry. So that way I got time to relax and have a beer or 2 before back to work on Monday. Anyway, we got more Saccrete waiting there. Finish up that row. But like I said, we got a lot of the junk out of here. Got a lot of this cleaned up today. All that pile right there came out of here, plus some more stuff that's on the other side. So not a bad day. We did about 5 hours, and at my age and shape, that's about all I got in me, is about 5 hours of manual labor. So it's a day. We're done. Alright, it's 15 October, and we got all the concrete strips poured, and it's time to make some shelves and clean up some of this clutter. And I need to put a door right here, a 4-foot opening, because I'm going to have that into the other shed. And I'm going to put the shelves back up here. I took the old rotted wood that was down, and I'm going to replace that. But before I do, I'm going to put in this beam, this 4x4 beam right here where I want the door opening to be, that 4-foot door opening. And I'm in here looking at stuff, and man, I tell you, whoever built this shed didn't know a whole lot about anything. If you'll notice, I'll shine some extra light up in here, but there's 2 2x8s that run across here and hold this roof up. That one there, the inside one, isn't connected, isn't sitting on anything. on either end. It's just nailed to the other board, and the other board isn't setting on the beams either. So nothing about this truss here is setting on anything. It's just nailed sideways into these beams, or at least we hope it is. That's probably why they put these stupid things up, which you know, don't do a whole lot either. Not very structurally sound, if you ask my opinion, and I know absolutely nothing about anything. So it's amazing that even I can recognize that this is not the way to go. This one here looks like it got wet, but we'll have to check and see how damaged that wood is. But at any rate, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this 4x4. I'm going to set it up against here. You'll notice this one, these 2x2s here are nailed on the outside of the 4x4. So I've got this 2-inch gap right here, and you can see even this stuff's pulling away because it's not anchored right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to notch the bottom of that to fit over this 2x2, notch it again to fit over this 2x4 here, and then finally come to rest underneath both of these boards, because again that one there only rests underneath one of them. So this will be the first actual 4x4 that will be help supporting this roof, which is amazing. Alright, so that's what we're going to do. Notch out this 4x4, go around these 2x4s and set up underneath there.